Denver is still months away from offering people a better solution to fight parking tickets. The easy solution was the victim of budget cuts last year. So every parking dispute must now be settled in court. Steve on Your Side has heard from people who are waiting months to be heard. Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. Today, 9 News consumer investigator Steve Stager asked Denver's mayor what's taking so long. Steve joins us now. Steve, 6 months later, people are still having to schlep to the courthouse.
Yeah, not once, but twice. The latest, a pretty well-known Denverite on social media. Someone sent her video blasting the city over an incorrect parking ticket to me, and we got in touch. And you might not want to be sitting near a wall right now, because this tale might make you want to bang your head.
This is a story all about time. Time expired.
There was a parking ticket on our car.
And time wasted.
But we had paid on the app, and we had proof of that.
Those of you who aren't on social media much might not recognize Peaches and Diesel, but a lot of people do. She has 730,000 followers on Instagram. Her recent frustration about Denver's parking dispute process found its way to Steve on Your Side.
To fight this, you can't just, email or anything. Captain Big Shot had to go down to the courthouse.
She connected us to her husband, Captain Big Shot.
I was pissed off.
We'll call him Mike.
Bought an hour and a half on the app, walked to the restaurant, came back an hour and 15 minutes later or so, and there was a ticket on her car.
The meter reader wrote the ticket at $5.20, but Mike's receipt says he paid at $5.04.
You'd think there'd be just somebody that you could provide the evidence to and have a look at. Not in Denver.
Boy, was he wrong. On the website, Mike was directed to go down to the courthouse, not to show his evidence and plead his case, but rather to schedule a date to plead his case.
Spent 2.5 hours one morning doing that, only to find out that my court date now is end of July.
He now has to wait 3 months for a court date to prove something that could probably be thrown out in 30 seconds. Why?
I understand the city's in trouble budget-wise, but it doesn't seem like it's the right place to cut.
6 months ago, we told you about the budget cuts.
I kind of tried to say, this seems like this would be a waste of the judge's time. That was the only option.
The city's court system cut the online dispute process. At the time, Denver's transportation department said they were standing up a solution sometime in 2026. We figured they'd have an idea of when by now, 4 months into the new year.
People are frustrated. I'm frustrated. We all get it.
So we took Captain Big Shot's ticket to someone who might know that time frame.
There are some really easy open and shut ones. I got a ticket at $5.20. I paid at $5.04. That should be easy.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnston says a solution is on the way.
It is a priority to get it done. I talked to the head of transportation infrastructure this morning.
It'll just take more time.
We're shooting for the end of the summer.
Back at the House of Peaches, Captain Big Shot says he is ready for a fight.
$35. Why not just pay the ticket and say forget about it?
100% the principle of it. I don't have any patience at all for this kind of crap.
So we did ask the Department of Transportation about Mike's ticket specifically, and they told us he's following the proper process and can come to his July hearing and sort it all out. You're banging your head on the wall. I am too. But consider these numbers. Before the budget cuts, the court averaged 9 parking hearings scheduled each month. Since the cuts, that average is now 887 hearings scheduled each month. It's a problem, one in desperate need of a solution. I'm Steve Stager. Steve on Your Side, 9 News.
You think about that and the court costs to do this, and boy, good for Captain Big Shot.
Yeah, Captain Big Shot says, I could pay this and just make it go away. And he wonders how many people do that, right? $35, just pay the ticket. You don't have to worry about going back to court. You don't have to go down to the city and county building twice, because part of this process, you can't just schedule something online. You got to go down to the city and county building. You think maybe you're going to be able to dispute your case there, but they say, no. Let's schedule a hearing. Then you come back, and in his case, it's going to take 3 months before he can argue that case in front of a judge.
And some people that can do that and either argue it and take the time, but there are a lot of people who, when they don't show up to work and have to take an hour or 2 off, don't get paid.
Yeah.
So this is costing people not only time, but money. And everybody knows it's a problem, and it's going to take that long to get fixed. It's just mind-boggling.
And you got to pay to park at the city and county building.
Yep.
Just thinking about it.
We were at parking court this morning, and they actually give you a little bit of time because they know how tough it is to park around the city and county building. So they kind of wait for people to show up before they get things started. By the way, we actually got a parking ticket too, but I think
Are you serious today?
we can't dispute this one because we let
was
the
your
meter
fault.
expire. So yeah. So we'll.
Hey, I'm with Captain Big Shot, principal.
Yeah.
Principal.
All right, Steve, thanks.
Great story. Great story. Keep them coming. Thanks, Steve. Okay, we want to get right to senior weather impact team meteorologist Chris Bianchi because we got a weather impact alert.
Yeah, this is actual real weather this winter, or this spring, I should say.
Yes, I'm still thinking back to Steve getting. I'm shocked they got the parking ticket. That's
Well, he admitted they let the
He
parking.
was busy tracking down Captain Big Shot, the mayor.
yeah. There we go.
The other
Oh,
Captain Big Shot.
Captain Big Shot doing the fighting for all of us. Meantime, here I have some good news passed along. I've been giving you basically nonstop bad news all winter long. Here's a little bit of good news. Copper Mountain extending their operations by a week. Important to note, Copper Mountain is a north-facing mountain. It's also higher in elevation, so they hold on to their snow a bit better than a lot of the lower ski elevations like Vail and Steamboat are a little lower in elevation, so they're going to melt off quicker. Copper holding on to that snowpack a little bit longer. We do have that weather impact alert for tomorrow and for Saturday morning. That's going to be for a hard freeze. For most of us in the Denver metro area, the highest impact will be that hard freeze on Saturday morning. Hard to believe it's going to be snowing this time tomorrow. It's 74 right now in Denver, but again, we've got the potential for temperatures drop down about 20 on Saturday morning. The threshold for a hard freeze, which means extended impacts, and when you're really talking about having to cover up those backflow preventers, that's 28. We're going to drop down to 20 on Saturday morning, and a trace to maybe an inch or two of snow on colder surfaces. I'll tell you about that in full detail in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you. The greenery outside the Denver City and County building won't be there much longer. Instead of the non-functional bluegrass turf, city leaders are putting in what they're calling Colorado-scaping. The grass will be replaced with native grasses and wildflowers. Not wildflower, we want to stay away from those. They say this will help promote local pollinators and save water in the process, something that is top of mind and really important to do after this dry winter we've had.
We're kicking off the replacement of approximately 1 acre of non-functional bluegrass right here at our city and county building. One more time, we will save an estimated 1 million gallons of water a year from this project. In addition to that water savings, this space will serve as a mini botanic garden and a living reminder that reducing our water use is critical, especially in times like these.
Yeah, and to go a step further, also to save water, a new irrigation system is being installed. The landscape transformation is expected to be done by the end of this year. Full plant establishment will take about 3 years, they tell us.
Denver International Airport is warning people about an airport phone number that's been cloned by scammers. Using DIA's numbers, the scammer is reportedly claiming you won a free stay at a hotel in downtown Denver. That's not true. The airport says at least 25 people have received these calls since last weekend. They don't know if anyone has lost money to the scammers, but they just remind everybody that DIA will never request sensitive personal or financial information on the phone. If you get a call like that, hang up and immediately report it.
This is new at 4. Several lanes of southbound Parker Road are shut down at Park Glen Way because of a fuel spill. You can see some of the pictures here. South Metro Fire says a hazmat team is currently working with CDOT on the cleanup. The good news is they say no fuel has entered any waterways. Park Glen Way is, though, closed in both directions at Parker Road while crews continue to clean up. South Metro Fire says it could take a while.